Okay, it looks like we're loading something, huh? Yeah, I should try building that sometime, shouldn't I? Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah, lots of buttons to push. Boopity boop. And doggy invading here. Hi, doggy. What are you doing? It's okay, you can just, like, sit down there. Like, there he is. On the sofa. Say hello to doggy. Lucky? Look. Say hi. Okay. I gotta close the door again now. Hi, Silent Searchlight. Hi, we're just I don't know. Honestly, I'm in messing around mode but it's messing around with all the joys and wonders that have been brought into the game by the modder known as Nerty. Of course, responsible for restock, near future technologies, far future technologies, near future construction, just basically Kerbal Space Program 2 without the colonization and without the fancy Kerbal animations. So I actually really want to do a feature on this work. So I'm honestly like I don't know half the stuff that's in here, so I'm just like mucking around, to be honest. You've beat science mode completely. I should actually try taking a look at the science tree. I didn't even think about that. But let's just like pop in and see how things look. We are looking at far future, a near future, or just the entire thing. Yeah, we're just looking at the entire thing. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. No, I don't. It's the Discovery season finale happened. I heard a lot of people aren't happy with it, but now that it's come out, I'll probably wait until I can get a free month out of CBS and then watch it in one sitting. Because frankly, I'm not paying for CBS. There's only one thing I watch on it. Two things if you count Picard. So it's like I only watch it for Star Trek, and I'm like, no. Good morning, everybody. Let's see who's here. We have Wicked Sludge, Silent Searchlight, Q's Cosplay, Chicken Nugget 0005. That's a lot of O's. IEE, Fee, Coffee, Shinden 1, Jengazi, Fire M, Euclid's Fifth Postulate, Silent Searchlight, Fire M, Real Indrift, Real Indrit? I don't know, the Reapers. And I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name. The Radioactive Banana 32767, which is one of my favourite numbers. Unchained Goose. Privus. Nubby Narwhal, Orsville, VHS tapes. Okay, girls. Maybe so 83. Say what? 28, 31, C7. And Mr. Chevy 2, who just subscribed at Tier 1. Thank you very much for your contribution. Let's try and power something. Jim Carrey was awesome in Sonic, was he? You took my account name and added some favorite number to it. Yes. It's not quite a round number, but it is a very, I mean, depending on it's a kind of nice number. Look at all these command pods. Got it. So we have the Pokey one. What's this? I guess that's supposed to be like a plane. I guess you could put something. Does that have an attached node on the front, I wonder? No, it doesn't. Ooh. That's the standard lander can. We don't need that. No. Oh, get rid of that. I'm just looking at the parts now. Ooh, that looks familiar, huh? Look at all the tanks in there. Look at the tanks on that! Look at this look at the spherical things it has. Of course, let's just build a big train. Oh, hey, they've actually scaled these things up. Hold on. So that's the onion. Wow, these are bigger than I remember. But they're just reskinned, huh? Wonder how the interiors look. They probably look absolutely marvelous. Well, obviously we get the Mark 1. We get the Mark 1 3. Wow, so wait a second. The little, the Nereid command pod that's supposed to look like the SpaceX one looks rather tiny. Ooh. 3-meter command pod. That's more like it. Oh, okay. I didn't even realize that Jeremy Clarkson had COVID. I hear that Richard Branson's mum died of COVID, which, of course, is once again, you know, what the heck? Pandora. Ooh, nice. Yeah, well, I've just, realized that he's the one. He lay in bed until. Well, that's what most people do, except for the ones that lay in bed and then have trouble breathing. Then they need to do something else. Oh, a lot of scale going on here. Oh, that's the one there, right? Yeah, we've already got that one, haven't we? The Octo Girder guidance unit. Oh, hey, we have a square pod. Have I got Nerty's cryogenic engines? Yes, we probably do. But there's so many of them. Let's just sort these. So these are the dinky ones. Look at the size of the look at the Sepatrons. Aren't they so sexy? Nerty really made them marvelous. Even this one has such details and wonders on it. We don't deserve Nerty. We have little chicken landing engines. For some reason I'm sniffly. You're starting your aerospace engineering degree next week. Good luck with that. That is marvelous. More landing engines. Okay, lots of very small things. VTOL and ooh, wait a second. Wait a second. So what does this do? You know what? Funny looking Legos looks more like. Oh, does it still say Lego? Well, first of all, I would never say Legos ever. I'm gonna change this though. Sorry, I'm sniffly for some reason. Lego. The plural of Lego is Lego. Anyone that says Legos is missing a whole lot of things. Title. Oh yeah, not Lego. Nerty. Stuff. Greetings, space travelers. Greetings, starfighters. You have been enlisted in the war to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. So wait a second. Let's go back out of this. Let's go to this. So that's definitely like a plane cockpit there, right? But yeah, what do we have here? Atomic Aerospike. There you go. Yeah, people are the tokamak magneto-inertial fusion, fission fragment rocket, the atomic rockets, solid fuel boosters, mainsail, heavy turbofans, boring, liquid fueled engine cluster. Is this a thing, or is this something? This is obviously for the. This is if you want to do a bunch of RL10s on your SLS, right? So I'm guessing that might be part of the cryogenic engines. This is Vector, of course, which is reskinned and re-awesomed. Bohr. And this is Ohm's cluster. Now, wait a second. Does that use... That uses monopropellant. Nice. So I don't know if... Oh, here's a cryogenic. The Tharsis cryogenic rocket cluster. Let's try this. Yeah, you know what? Oh. Where is it? Da, 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 da. Oh, yeah, look, it has extenders. Yeah, I know the category's on just chatting because people complain when it's on a game that isn't the one they want. So I'm just chatting. Frankly, that's all I ever do. Auto strut. Is there a way to toggle? Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That is very nice. Da, da, da. So these are nozzle extensions like we see on the Delta 4 upper stage, where it gets them better specific impulse. Now I wonder if this actually changes the specific impulse. This is 1.11, but these parts aren't in there. I'm just not sure what I want to do with all of this power that's been given to me. My imagination is just like gone. Have I played Realism Overhaul recently? No, I haven't. Let's just start with a simple thing. This, and obviously we've got to have some propellant, so we've got to find some nuclear stuff. Let's do nuclear. It's fissionables, multipurpose, hydrogen, boring. Yeah, they are fissionables. That's a lot. Why is... Wait a second, that's a radial? Okay, I guess we're going to attach like a pressurized girder segment down the bottom. There we go. This is all mods. All mods, all the time. That's how we do it. Probably need to add some thermal stuff, because nuclear things make a lot of heat. So let's add a bunch of graphene. Nice! Okay. Of course, you never do that many radiators because they just all radiate into each other. Oh, hey! That's the shirt I'm wearing today. It's a rocket thing. You wouldn't understand. Or you could say it a different way. No, I'm sorry, honey. It's a rocket thing. You would understand. I mean, you can do it in a really condescending manner or in a reassuring manner. It's up to you. How you wear it is entirely up to you, right? But just realize that everyone can understand rocket science if that's their thing, right? It's not something that you are born into. It's something that you realize that you will not be able to sleep if you don't, spend that time. Oh, where is Rhino, Clark, Poseidon? Again, let's sort by mass. Z-pinch fusion, inertial confinement fusion, Fresnel, Tokamak afterburning, Heinlein nuclear saltwater rocket. There we go. I'm sure this will work very well. No, it won't. Well, Elon has many kids. Let's be clear. I think what'll happen is this thing will overheat, which honestly I didn't actually see what would happen. But if you look at the engine, and then let's look at a radiator, right? The radiators will probably fall off and then it'll explode. There we go. Temperature. Uh-oh, that's not good. Oh, then the thing overheated. Hey, look! Jebediah's still alive. Revert flight to vehicle assembly. How is the best way to cool these things? I think what we really want to do is build a proper NSWR system, but we'll launch it outside the atmosphere, right? Maybe we could build an interstellar probe. That's what we'll do, right? I'm going to start with that. Start afresh. So what I actually need is like a probe. And let's actually use the square one, because I like square. Here we go. Remote guidance unit. This will be at the front of our payload. And our payload is going to need to be able to unfold like all this stuff. We probably need a nuclear reactor to power this thing, right? Electricity. Fission reactor. Curve fission. Ooh, that's a tiny little one, right? Let's get a bigger one. No, let's get a bigger one still. There we go. Little nuclear reactor there, right? Now, for this reactor, don't you need like a power generator or something to attach to it? Is that how it works? Photovoltaic truss, lots of these things. What does this say? Auto shutdown, temperature, power setting. Like, I'm just trying to figure out, is this the same as what's its face, where you need Interstellar, or is it totally different? Is this just like a big RTG? Should probably have some like batteries and things here. Capacitors are there to provide high power, I guess. Hey Scott, how's it going? Rocket Sage, I don't know. How is it going? How are you, Rocket Sage? We've never really had enough time to work together, but it's great to see you here. Tell us about some rocks. I mean, seriously, did you see my photos that I managed to pull from the Chandrayaan 2 off the surface of the moon? Curved solar arrays. There's so many things in this here. So many parts. I feel like I don't know where to start. What? Well, what do I want to know? What's the deal with geologists putting dirt in their mouth? Can you explain that? I've heard that it's like, oh, you know, you can tell that some things are different kinds of sediment by the texture when it's in your mouth. Like, seriously, that's a real thing, right? You can tell grain size. There you go. It's true, right? It's not like some weird thing. So we're going to need to do reaction wheels here. Oh, Roarsat. Yeah, Roarsats are fascinating. It started as a practical joke to haze freshmen in geology school. Okay, my next favourite subject in geology is the Cascadia subduction zone. I mean, as in, it seems pretty cool, but yeah, let's, you know, not hope that nothing actually happens regarding that. Yeah, who doesn't love the Cascadia subduction zone? I'm looking for the rockets. We're looking for a nuclear saltwater rocket engine in here somewhere. And there's so many of them. I hope you don't live near the coast. Okay, what does it say? It says only 12 kilometers per second. We need more, obviously, stuff on this. You currently live in a desert. That would seem to be... has its own dangers, I imagine. I'm not in the Cascadia area. I myself live in California, but I occasionally end up in that part of the world. I'm very aware of the physics involved in that. We're just waiting for the big one, whereas we know that up there they're going to get the really big one. Sorry, I'm having a really hard time paying attention, talking and all that. You got a beach house on the northern Oregon coast. There you go. Yeah, that'll. Yeah, Mount Shasta. Oh yeah, I know. I've passed over. I've gone to Mount Shasta. I remember going up to the high parking lot, and Orion just sort of looked up the hill and said, "Dad, why aren't we going higher? It's so close. We could just like get up there." And I felt, yes, we could, Orion, but I don't think you really could. Is this the only high temperature radiators? Here we go. We're going to put a bunch of radiators around the outside. I'll put 3-way radiators here, right? Hopefully that will be able to... Guy who lives 5 minutes from the Blackbird Air Park. Oh, right. Are you the guy that actually made a comment on YouTube about that? Because it was pretty much because of that comment that I went there. And that was a fascinating day because I thought about it and then I realized it would make a great video. And the next thing you know, I'm driving down the highway and I'm trying to get Amy to do research simultaneously. So, is there any other evidence that Mount Shasta has been geologically active in human memory? Because I know that there's a bunch of people that claim that the evidence is actually misinterpreted. I think we'll be fine here. We'll call this Rocket. Rock it. Slowly turning off, so to speak. I think we're going to need one of these in here. But we're actually going to need the aeroshell first. Oh yeah, actually I would really love your interpretation or comments on the recent activity at Kilauea on Hawaii. Because obviously I was there moments before it erupted last time. And I was kind of disappointed, to see that it had faded away. Obviously, I was, tragic that it burned all those houses and stuff. Oh, wait a second. That's a docking adapter, isn't it? Yeah, we don't need a docking adapter. We can use something lighter. Engine plate, engine plate, engine plate. Oh, I could use this decoupler. That would look cool, right? There we go. Edit fairing. Am I saying I'm responsible? No, I'm saying that Sky was responsible. She was the one that was singing. And Pele obviously decided that, what she said was wrong. Do I have a video on decouplers? Not really, but I do have a video on the couple of failures that happened. You're very happy with the volcanic lake. Yeah, I know. So I went, the first time I went to that park was on my honeymoon, and it was just a crater with smoke coming out of it. And while it was like, this is the coolest thing ever, Amy was less impressed. But, I convinced her to go back when we were there last year, actually. And wouldn't you know, we got there and there was actual spatter and everything coming up. Where is the rockets that are going to fit? They're all the wrong size. Sort by size. Sort by size. There we go. Once again, wrong size. So hard to tell. My wife claimed it was just a light bulb in there. Yeah. Well, I'm going to say no to that. But when we were there, basically, Sky sat up on the viewing gallery at the Jaguar, sorry. I was saying Jaeger, like, you know, the Pacific Rim, and she just, sung a tune. And people were taking pictures of her recording, which was really kind of cool. And basically, the next day we had to leave. And as we landed, we heard that they had closed down... Wait a sec. Oh, this is a trimodal atomic rocket motor. No, we don't want that. What do these look like? These are cryogenics. Now, wait a second. Does that mean... This is the wrong kind of engine, isn't it? So we need to change the fuel type to cryogenic. So let's do that. Antimatter storage. How much delta V does that give it? 92 meters per second. I don't want to use the salt engine for the first stage because I am not insane. Nope. Oh, this antimatter. Damn it, it's so hard to find the pieces that I need. Cryo. They're all kind of meh. Have you thought a second opinion? What am I making? I'm making a rocket to put a thing into space. What else do I do? Ooh, look at the size of that ball. I kind of like that, right? I think I'm going to have to just have a regular second stage. I wanted to have a cryogenic thing. For those that haven't seen it, this has extendable nozzles. Don't you love the way those nozzles extend? Nozzles are all the fun. But anyway, yeah, the world... I watched the eruption in Hawaii last year with great fascination, I guess is the word. And I was thinking about all the people that I met. Not last year, but the year before, 2019. Because 2020 was obviously taken up with the whole, oh wait, we can't go anywhere now. What does that say? 1400 meters per second. Too small, too short. It's the boar, wolfhound. Wolfhounds are pretty excellent upper stages, but that performance, I don't think it has much thrust. I gotta remember all my engines. Where is the one? That looks like the one. Oh, I can right click the tanks to fill them with hydrogen instead. It just says liquid oxygen, liquid fuel. Part info. Variant, black and white. No. Orange. Nope. People will look back and think Game of Thrones Season 8 was in 2020. Tank type. Okay, here we go. Oh, LH2 Ox. So there we go. Okay, well let's try that with the cool engines. This is me learning so I can make a video about it, right? Let's be clear. Okay, so that then has 324, but I'm going to change the delta V to be working vacuum, and it tells me I have 1200 meters per second. That is enough to get into orbit, I hope. Next, let's put another... that's a stack. We're using a stack separator. It shouldn't matter too much. Now we need big-ass engines on here. You might build a cryo upper stage launch vehicle for you sometime using Nerty's parts. I almost never end up using other people's parts just for time reasons. And this is probably the giant piece for the... Yeah, let's do this. We'll have an adapter. I'll have a step. Oh, there we go. Brilliant. This is such a big rocket. Hey, so I hope you guys are enjoying my videos about rocket engines and things like that. It does look very Saturn V, or Saturn V. V for Vendetta. Johnny Mnemonic's timeline starts on the 17th and Mad Max is this year. Good to know. Blade Runner was 2 years ago, though. Okay. I'm once again trying to find the parts. Vesuvius. Ooh, nice. Kodiak. Reliant. These look at the work he's done on this. I'm just bringing this out. Obviously, I'm not going to use it, but look at this. Great. This is the LVT-30. It looks like an old school engine, right? And of course, you have the multiple variants, but Nerty's really done a great job of redesigning these engines. This is the restock feature that we're seeing here. Ulysses. Ulysses. Have I done much astrophotography recently? No. What's my thrust to weight ratio? TWR 0.66. No, thank you. Let's find the vector. The vector, that's the one that we want. Let's just put a bunch of these on. What does it say? Thrust 1.29, and I think we can get this into space. What do you think? Let's put another vector in the middle just to be sure. 7 vectors, extra thrust. I'm going to add some wings because frankly I'm lazy, and having some sort of aerodynamic stability always helps just a little. And obviously we're going to need some support hardware for this. And then we can bring the whole thing down, put it on the deck, and we're ready to rock it, as they say, according to Herbie Hancock. You guys remember Herbie Hancock? Rocket. Wacka 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 wacka. Da 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 da. I love my dancing. Like, I'm serious, the funny thing is I don't have a TikTok for security reasons, but I would own on that platform. We're going to need to put this on this stage, and most of these things work. You know what, the only thing is though, I'm going to change this, put this, ditch this early. You think this is going to flip? Let's see what happens. Brilliant, takes off just fine. Oh ye of little faith. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. You know, we'll get there. I can fly this. This makes it more fun, to be honest. I mean, seriously, like, there's a lot of fun to be had here. We're passing through Max Q, and I don't think we're going to get to space like this. Yeah, let's keep pointing upwards. We're picking up a bit of a wiggle. I think I'll maybe throttle down a bit. There we go. That'll help. What's my Apple apps? 34 kilometers. I think we're totally getting there. Yeah, payload is totally clipping through the hull because reasons. Time to Apple apps is rising, which is good. Oh, now we've picked up a new wobble mode. We used to wobble like this. Now we're wobbling like that. Notice? These are different vibration modes, and you know, if you're a rocket engineer, you need to think about these things. This is just really rocket engineering writ large, right? Science. It's science. Okay. It'll probably calm down a bit once these engines burn out. Because these engines have really high vector range. Look at those things. I'm gonna pretend I'm the engines. There we go. Okay. There we go. Oh, maybe. Yeah, we'll be fine here. And you know what? We're high enough up. Let's ditch the fairing. There we go. Brilliant! Yes, exactly. We've changed the polarization, but I love this. Look at this beautiful creation here. Turn off the gimbals. No, I'd have to right-click on all of them. Rocket saying, we're so delighted. I remember meeting you at TwitchCon. I think it was in, was it in Long Beach? In SoCal? I forget. TwitchCon... God, several years ago. And then, again, there was TwitchCon in San Jose, and I didn't go to the one in San Diego because that was too long for me. I was like, no, I'm not bothering. So, but obviously no TwitchCon this year. I like Santa Cruz. I haven't been there in a long time. Since I moved from Oakland to the North Bay, it's a much longer drive to go to Santa Cruz. Well, I'm glad that you continue to Twitch and do these great things. I obviously do Twitch as a complete amateur, just talking about randomness and things like this. But you're consistent. You do a lot more work than me. Let's say I'm obviously much more out on YouTube doing YouTube things, talking about science things, whatever. Yes, there's all sorts of details here that are supposed to imply like fissile storage. So yes. What graphics mods? We have Scatterer. I actually installed Scatterer before the official release because I needed to make that video with Peter Beck from whatchamacallit? From Rocket Lab. That's the company. I almost forgot. If you get paid, you're not an amateur. No, you can get paid for something and still do it amateurishly, right? Let's be clear. And I'm very much in that camp. My work code is actual professional stuff. Yeah. What do I think of the new M1 chips? They are awesome. I have one in here right now. I see. Molten saltwater reactors using dilithium tetrafluoroberylate. There we go. So, I'm going to shut this thing down and we'll cruise for a bit. Now, electric charge is doing fine. It was funny, I posted that video on the nuclear saltwater reactor and there was like an angry post by somebody saying, "You've got it all wrong. The molten saltwater reactor like wouldn't harm a baby or whatever." It's like you guys are like perpetuating the misinformation of the uranium reactor mafia or some rubbish thing like that. And he tried to then explain just how thorium molten salt reactors were perfect and amazing, and I was being bad to them. And obviously this person had no clue what they were talking about, because they didn't know the difference between a lifter and a NISWER. Right? A NISWER and a lifter are two very different things. Obviously they don't sound the same. Could a baby harm a molten salt reactor? Possibly. We should, we'll definitely have to deploy all our stuff. MSRE. That's what's Molly... Now, is this reactor running, do you think? Or is this just the thing? Toggle reactor control. Reactor is offline right now. We'll need it once we get to deep space. No, I remember the molten salt reactor experiment, and they had to build it so that all the parts of the reactor could be disassembled remotely. That's one thing I remember. They would like have a whole unit come in, would get craned into position, and then they had ways to tighten the bolts and everything on it. Oh, yes, don't worry, I will extend all the radiators. Right now we're just sort of chilling out. Electric propulsion is the future. It is if you've got a car, right? Okay, let's fire up that engine again. Oh no, I was hoping that this would be the time for me to circularize, but no. EM drive. EM drive is like garbage. Please stop talking about the EM drive. You made a molten salt reactor when you microwave. I've made a molten sugar reactor. Have you ever had that? Boy, keep that stuff away from sensitive areas. Is the stream glitching out for people? Did EJ... I haven't seen... You know what? I have a really hard time keeping track of everyone because I, myself, am just always busy. EJ, I don't think, usually goes live on Tuesdays anyway. You know what? I'm going to ditch this stage now that we're 69 kilometers up, right? There we go. Okay, we're going to get some separation between these stages. Now, I just realized that I should have probably attached these things to an action group, and now I'm going to have to do this manually. So it's really not very sexy, is it? It's much cooler if you push a single button and they all come up online. Of course I'm excited to see a test flight. Yes. I'm excited to find out what Tim's saying tomorrow. That's another thing. Oh, these look a little off. But you know what? I think it's good to have them not looking quite aligned. Molten ice cream reactor, yes. This is looking pretty good. We will have the engine activated, but we will not fire it up. It's like Skylab, they got damaged at launch. Oh, you know what you said? These have to get turned on? No, they're all in the same loop. How would they get turned on? I'm really confused. You want to see Super Heavy completed. So where should we go? We have a lot of Delta V. We should just go to Dres, right? But we're in totally the wrong place. But we probably have enough Delta V to just go straight to it, right? Aim towards the target and just light up the engine. There we go. Now watch what happens to our temperature here. Temperature gets pretty high. What do you think? Do you think we're in trouble yet? It has about 18 kilometers per second of delta V, so I'm probably not going to be able to go too hard. But I'm definitely going to reach escape velocity and then make some actual decisions. I mean, the system flux is stuck at minus 1125. I'm also burning at 2 Gs, yeah. Isn't that beautiful? Just escaping off. The heat exchange overlay. Oh, so there is, yes. So you can actually see how the heat loops pipe together. And, you know, here's the thing about cooling. If you're going to do cooling properly in real life, you actually have to match your radiator temperatures to your cooling circuits. Like, if you've got a set of radiators that are cooling a reactor that operate at thousands of degrees, you don't want those on the same circuit as, say, something that is cooling a life support system that may only be able to operate at hundreds of degrees. You don't want the heat from the reactor feeding back into your life support area. So you have separate cooling loops typically. Cool. Yeah, there's a lot to read about dynamics of things. Okay, so how do we get out to the... I mean, like, this is a radial thing, so I might have to do, like, a hard directional change. Let's get out, though. Just use evaporated water to cool. Oh, wait, Chernobyl. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, wait a sec. Gotta activate this. Oh, wait. Hold on. Apparently I have forgot to activate my power system because I have no power. And my things are pointing the wrong direction. That's great. In space, you don't need cooling outside your ship. You know, one thing I may need to bring up... wait a second. Might need to fix the infinite electricity right now. Because I forgot to actually turn on things. No, of course you don't have an alternator on this. That's pretty... Yeah, infinite power. Temporarily, I don't know. Like, I'm just going to be lazy. Who needs power? Power just gets in the way. The real trick is delta V. Okay. Let's see how quickly I can get out there. Okay, so where am I? That puts me there. So this takes some... there we go. Getting closer. So I'm basically trying to make a fast trip out there because I can do it, right? And let's turn that over there. Bingo. Getting closer. So what I'm going to do probably is just tweak this. You know, I can right click on this. I'm just thinking, like, if I twist this whole thing around, yeah, react the heck out of everything to get there. That's exactly what it is. Radial out. Oh, so sensitive, damn it. Closest approach is 3,000 kilometers, and I need to keep in the same lane. It would be very nice to be able to move all this stuff around. I think, obviously, the Kerbal UI is problematic in many ways, and yet it's all we have, so, you know, what are we going to do? Okay. Are these getting closer? 2,000, that's getting closer, so that's a good sign, right? When it says 2,000, what they really mean is 2 million, right? Yeah, that's 1.3 million. There we go. Well, as I said, KSP2 is it's gonna happen. Now we're down to half a million kilometers. There we go. We're getting there, baby. We're getting there. I mean, I could trim this course when I get closer. That might be better. Look at that. Ooh, look at that! We have an actual encounter, and it's super sensitive. So you know what? That's me getting within 50,000 kilometers. So let's actually just use this burn, right? Are we ready? 4 hours, it says. I could just do the burn now, right? Fly a nuclear submarine into space. I did it. You did it to the VAB. I flew a nuclear submarine into space by accident. That was why it was funny, was because we tried to build a nuclear sub and the engines just happened to work in the air. So next thing we know, we are flying like a nuclear thing in space. But hey, look at this nuclear fury. Do not put head in there. So this is like 100,000 degrees centigrade. By the way, Marios subscribed for 39 months. My goodness, I did not realize that I have been streaming for that length of time. That is crazy. Congratulations for reminding me how long I've been doing this insane thing. Meter says 3.6. Yes, I know. As I said, this engine, if you figure out the math on it, it's about 700 gigawatts. And the most extreme interpretations of the Chernobyl data said that the Chernobyl reactor possibly peaked as high as 350 gigawatts, which is, of course, hundreds of times its intended power. So this is like riding multiple Chernobyls, right? And the reason I'd say Chernobyl, by the way, rather than say a nuclear explosion, is because you've got this jet of water shooting down the middle filled with fissionables. You want it to undergo a nuclear reaction, and you want that reaction to happen as quickly as possible so you burn up as much as possible, right? And in a regular nuclear reactor, you want the thing to only barely be critical. In fact, you make it critical with only the delayed neutrons. That's the neutrons, the nucleus gets hit, and it sort of sits around and said, should I fission? It might sit there for like a whole minute, and then it undergoes fission and spits out those neutrons. So that's how you can keep reactors stable, or that's one component that helps you keep reactors stable. But if a reactor goes prompt critical, you no longer have that 1 minute or whatever lag, so the reactor just grows very, very quickly. So you have regular reactors are pretty much only critical with delayed neutrons, unless they're a pulse reactor. Prompt neutrons, which is what happened at Chernobyl, that means stuff runs out of control very, very, very quickly, right? So yeah, it's much closer to Chernobyl than an Orion drive, for example, right? This thing's got a bit of a shimmy on it too. Yeah, we got some serious oscillations on my Chernobyl. I think I'll maybe cut the gimbal limit down. I mean, the Chernobyl series should not be taken as a scientifically or dramatically accurate rendition of what's happening, but they take a lot of the important stuff and they put it in it makes a great show, right? But yeah, as I've probably mentioned, there are many, many, many flaws, but all the same, I thought it was a great show. If you experience oscillations lasting more than 4 hours, if you experience multi-mode oscillations and vibration modes, that definitely you should be careful. Is the RBMK a great reactor? I'm not sure it is. The RBMK, its main thing was to be able to operate with very low enriched enriched uranium. So the other thing about this is you shouldn't be able to throttle it down, right? It should pretty much only be at 100% throttle or 0 throttle. Well, there's other things they got wrong. They put a whole bunch of words into, Emily Watson's character. They put all sorts of random stuff into her mouth which didn't really make sense. Oh, shoot. Overshot just a little. But we can fix that, I think. I'll add a correction maneuver here. So we're a long ways from home. The thing is, right, the closer you do it, the less sensitive you need to be, right? Because your changes compound over time. So if you have an engine which is very hard to get an exact burn time out of, you have to make multiple control changes until you get closer. Okay, how are we doing? The problem with this is that, yeah. Let's do this. That's me moved further away. Okay, so in that case, we should do the other thing. Damn it. Slightly better. There wasn't a huge amount of stuff, but there are statements. The one example that everyone gets annoyed about is the woman who loses her baby, and the scientist says the radiation made her body absorb, or the child absorbed the radiation and saved the mother, which is like something that is plainly not what a scientist would say, but it is exactly what the person involved said. But she wasn't a scientist. She was writing a book about her experiences. That doesn't make any sense. But so while the quote is actually a real quote from a person involved, it's given to the wrong character. It's given to a character who should know better, right? But she, it's hard. I think they really wanted to have that in there, and it was clear that they didn't have a good way to. Oh man, getting closer. 640. Oh man, it's so darn sensitive. I guess what we could do is just burn like this. There we go. Da, da, da. 280. There, we'll just add a little bit of a radial component to it. Can you see these numbers decreasing? Kerbal's all about numbers going up and down. Ultimately. Okay, there. We're going to take that maneuver. Well, yes, I mean, if your design assumes that the people doing something aren't stupid, or if you assume your design is idiot proof, let's say, nature will invent a better idiot, right? Space shuttle to the moon with the wrong wing markings. Oh, don't get me started. But I am definitely looking forward to season 2 of For All Mankind. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I work at Apple, which is involved in Apple TV, but I know nothing about when these things get released. In the 19s, we didn't. Are you sure? Nuggets? Where did you do chemistry? Of course you have oxidizer in your bullets. Would you think you have a giant air intake on a gun so that it can burn the propellant quickly enough? Seriously, bullets have the oxidizer in there. Okay, let's make that big course correction. I think we're close enough. Let's set another. Let's add a maneuver here as we're coming in. So now what I should do. There's my thing. So I'm slowing way down so I can approach it. And this is where you need to be extra gentle with the numbers. Number going down. I mean, if you've got a giant potato gun that you've made like from the hardware store and you fire it using like hairspray or something, sure, that needs atmospheric oxygen, but they don't deploy those to armed forces generally. But the A-Team might end up using it to beat some local dictator. I don't know. Like, you guys remember the A-Team? You probably don't. But when I was a child, everybody watched the A-Team. I'm going to stop in front of it because that'll look way cooler. Back in my day, we had real television. Knight Rider, Street Hawk, or go home. Yeah. Knight Rider deserves to return. So you know, if you do the math, it's actually the amount of recoil you get isn't a game breaker for using guns in zero gravity. The main thing is, of course, that if you're working in space, on a space station, the ranges are pretty short. So the target will be approaching from this direction because we are moving very, very rapidly. Why was it called Knight Rider instead of Knight Driver? That's true. That is a very good point. I think we should start like a rumor that the original title for Knight Rider was Street Hawk. Because that makes so much sense, right? Ride Driver, yes. Apparently we can throttle this thing down, which makes 0 sense. That's pretty good. Okay, so now when we're going to stop here, we're going to have to... How much delta V do we need to stop this thing? So this is the encounter where we're going to fly past Dres at ridiculous speeds. And it's apparently not wanting to... Apparently we've broken the thing. 300, 400, 500, 600. Just wait. Look, the orbit's changing very slowly. That's 1 kilometer per second. Two kilometers per second. Ah, there we go. 2.5 kilometers per second to get into a capture orbit. And from there, you know, it's probably less than 3 to get into a circular orbit. Yes, hundreds of meters per second. So that's only going to be like a 1-minute burn. So let's point ourselves in the correct direction. How long before we have a TV show where all the characters are robots or AI? I believe we've had that. I mean, I guess half of the good characters in Battlestar Galactica were AI, right? Westworld, yeah, all the best characters are AI, yeah. There we go, bang! Just look at us swinging by here at 3 kilometers per second. There is... I do remember the 2008 Knight Rider, and I watched the one pilot, and that was it. And I was like, nope, I ain't watching this anymore. This has betrayed the memory of the Hoth. It was totally like Star Wars coming out of hyperspace. Ari 227929. I can't really capitalize it because most of those numbers are numbers. Okay, we're gonna be stopping soon. I think Hoth's still around. Two, one. There we go. Throttle to maximum. Yeah, I mean, Hoth, he was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, no, he was. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, wasn't he? And yes, they did the what did they call it? It's the... They basically did a space disco number, and it is marvelous. That I love sci-fi space disco music. I love it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna love that this is decelerating at about 2 or 3G and stopping. Are toroidal forces the biggest challenge or target? I don't know. Are you talking about tidal forces? Yeah, I like the fact that we're basically reversing into orbit. It was quite bad, even for American TV. Bingo! Dang, that's pretty good. No. We don't have any asteroids showing up. Darn. But I think we should watch this. What's with all those radiators? Yeah, the radiators are for keeping this thing from melting. The legend. I don't know. I'm sorry. No, I'm not a legend. I am a very real person. Would a ring a ring is not stable, if that's what you mean. So if you have I played The Long Journey Home? It's okay. It's got some fun stuff in it. I find it gets a little grindy, and I've never actually completed it, but I do like the fact that there's this whole alien race, this infestation, and one of the ways you deal with it is you get a device that scares it away. It's called a Celine Dion device, which I think is hilarious. What's that awful noise? So yeah, I played Long Journey Home long time ago, but never managed to play the whole thing. To make a dinosphere, you need the power output from a dinosphere. Please make a dinosphere for a dinosphere. Okay, so actually, I haven't figured out how to read the numbers, but I just figured I'd put as many. Is also a nuclear reactor in there, just so you know. Well, we should leave this there. Let's what other? Let's go back to the space center. Should we build like a plane or something? I might want to turn the reactor on. Yeah, well, that's a whole separate thing. First of all, let's wait till the morning. I can see clearly now the sun has risen. Or something like that. We could definitely do a nuclear-powered plane. Can you make something nuclear but very maneuverable? You mean like a warhead that can change course in the atmosphere? Sure. How many seats does this have? Just the one. The warhead knows where it is. Do you think, and is that the best idea? Aren't there some engines that are air breathing here? The broadsword. Wow. What does this actually need? So terrifying. It's Mach 3. What kind of propellant does it use? It uses liquid fuel and oxidizer, or just air intake air. Okay, I think this is what we have to go for. So we need obviously a whole bunch of intakes for this, right? And some propellant. It's like a giant rapier, yeah, that's what I figured. I don't know, I think I could get away with just the one. What do you think? Well, we need obviously a bunch of air intakes. Now, maybe there's some cool air intakes with this mod. Advanced RAM intake. Obviously, now I see that I've done the wrong thing. Obviously, this is a bad idea. Oh, no, wait a second. We need 2 of these, right? So let's pop this off of here. Maybe that's not the best way to do this. I mean, I like it. Maybe we could just make it asymmetric. But does this have this does have some liquid fuel in it, so that's good. So we obviously need like a giant air intake. Ooh, this is starting to look very Star Wars. How about we do it there? That's looking very Star Wars. Now the only thing is, I think I want to have the cockpit extending a little further forward. So, like, if there's some way I can put an air intake in there that's heavy engine pre-cooler. Oh, wait a second. Ooh. Hold on. Oh, I'm sort of liking that. Does this have any intake? Yeah, it has an intake. Boxy. Oh. Right, yeah, the Star Trek does that a lot. It's like, this is the most important thing ever in the history of Starfleet. Oh yeah, we've forgotten about it now. Like, never mind that they kept Scotty alive for all that time. Obviously we need some wings for this thing, right? I somehow don't think this will work very well with the limited amount of wings that we have. But we'll do this. Where's my center of lift? Center of lift is way too far back. I think these things are just way too big. Gotta do something more sensible. There we go. That. Shift this slightly further back. Yeah, that should be stable. I mean, I'm not saying that this will be able to get off the runway. I'm just saying that it's going to be stable for now. So, how heavy is this thing? Mass is about 22 tons, which isn't actually ridiculously high. All the same, let's put a pair of medium landing gear on the front. We're going to have a hard time. I'll stick these going forwards. And then we need to stick them just behind this. And we'll probably need actually more than this. So let's make it a bunch of these at the back. That'll help totally make the whole thing lift off. What do you think? Do you think that'll pivot around the rear? Let's find out. Why do I leave the trash floating around there? Because it annoys the people that get annoyed by it. Music never annoys. Do I think SpaceX is... I think SpaceX regularly stick the landing. Maybe there should be one large fin like the Tiderian... You mean the Lambda class shuttle? Wow, look at that! It totally takes off! I might need to throttle down a bit. Well, you know, it's got pretty decent... well, okay. May not be as stable as I would like. Let's get some weird Dutch roll stuff going on there. Let's take a look from the cockpit, huh? Uh-oh. You didn't say the magic word. There we go. Let's switch to exterior view again. Yeah, it works pretty well. I mean, the problem is that it stalls too easily before it generates the lift. We're going to have to try and split our way between some buildings here. Uh-oh, we're going to be supersonic before that happens. Not too bad. What's the well, that's the next thing we're going to try is, right? Let's go to the island. How high should we go? Box spaceport? Yeah. Let's get it on the deck and then light her up. It's already down to like 2, so you used 1/3 of its fuel already. Let's let her rip! $400 meters per second. 500. 600. Oh wow, and the engines are really kicking in. 900. Oh, and we're at. Oh. Okay. Now, yes. So we ran through our propellant rather quickly. I guess we're gonna have to ditch this thing in the water. Okay, here we go. Don't want to hit that water too. It flies like a brick. Oh, ow! But hey, look, we made it down. It's kind of splashy though, isn't it? See, now I want to know, if I turn on infinite propellant, how fast do you think this gets going? Murgle and the Curbson. You're worried about my beam mass distribution? I may experience roll eccentricity. I would love to know what that means. Wait a second. If I turn on infinite propellant, can I take off again? Oh, wait. Whoa! Better lift off. There we go. We're flying again. Right, so this is what we were doing. I think these are supposed to be like rotating detonation engines or something. Let's buzz the airfield. Okay, now let's see how fast we can get going. Ready? Pointer on the horizon, let it go. Oh, it rolls a little too much. Oh, that's because my velocity vector's off center. Oh, interesting that it just doesn't seem to... It seems to be stuck now. Interesting. It is having some trouble with the sound barrier. So why did it not have that trouble when we had more fuel in it? My electric charge should be fine. Let's get some more altitude and see if we can get through this thing. But I was really low down. Is that what it is, maybe? Engine and rocket mode? Oh yeah, that's what it is. Closed cycle. Oh. There we go. Oh no! That asymmetric thrust, that'll get you. So now you know what this means. It means I need to go back and buzz that tower again. Where the heck is it? This thing just goes very fast. Asymmetric hot swapping as well. It seems to have pretty good yaw control. I mean, the only thing is there is a definite yaw bias because of the asymmetry at the front of the vehicle. Wow. Okay. There's the run. There's where we were going again. We're starting to get some heat going on here. You know what? I think without the extra mass, the aerodynamic torque is actually having a stronger effect on the vehicle. Oh, there are. Let's just see what happens. Yeah, I have yaw trim kicked in. Right, it's trying to keep it yawed. There it goes. G-forces, 900 meters per second. 1,000 meters per second. And I think this is basically as high as the engine goes. I think it... Yeah, it... No, the thrust is still like 2 It's like 2.2 meganewtons. That's like 200 tons of thrust coming out of this thing. But, yeah, the whole thing is just... You're ramming it into air. The parts are all from Nerty's near future. Okay, I was about to burn up, so I'm cutting this. Cut the thrust down to 0. Now, I wonder if I can glide this back. What do you think? Whoa, yeah, okay. Okay, not good. Let's turn off that. I've now gone subsonic and the atmosphere is a little too thin. It's entirely possible that this thing isn't very stable once the air gets very thin. I think I might not have the ability to make it back to the runway. Okay, here we go. You were only going faster than the A12, Mach 4.1. Yeah. When you're pulling up, you gotta make sure that your axis is pointed directly through your velocity vector. If it's off axis, then you get this weird induced roll going on. I mean, it's not weird, it's like totally expected, but it can be very hard to keep control if you've got the roll happening at the same time too. There we go. We get some control back. Should probably try to get out of the mountains before I try to land this thing. Yeah, it does have the aerodynamic qualities of a brick. I'm wondering if I can even clear these mountains right now. I guess I'm picking up speed, so I should be okay at least with this ridge. Yeah, it's a Type 9, that's what it is. Okay. So one of the visual mods I would normally have these days, but I haven't because I haven't checked for 1.11 compatibility, is of course parallax, which makes everything look so much more beautiful. Some ground scatter there. I don't think this is going to make it through the landing safely. I think it's just going to be too... Oh, so far so good. Let's turn off stability control here. Wow, I can't believe this thing has landed. Good lordy. Let's turn the brakes on. Turn the brakes off. Turn the brakes on. Well, that is hot stuff. I mean, literally, look at how hot this thing still is. The Duracell has landed. You need tense music. You always need tense music for some of the stupid things I try to do. Yeah, let's just recover. Time to do science. What are you talking about? What kind of science could we possibly do from this thing? He's not an engineer. He's got nothing to do. So we're going to recover this. Airborne science? Yeah, the landing was science. Can you get out and fry up lunch on it? Of course you can. Everything lands. What changes is the number of parts that it is in. The interstellar docking scene music. There we go. What if we fueled it up with water? Then it might sink? I have no idea why that cockpit is so hot. But it's probably because the pilot who handled that must have been shit hot. I do kind of like the aesthetic of this big box thing, but I should try something else. The Project ELU engine is nuclear powered, no need for fuel with this. So what other engines do we have? Asimov afterburning fission fragment. Ooh, sexy. I like how I like how this nuclear engine has color-coded cabling just so that you don't get that messed up. Because, if you're working on a highly radioactive fission fragment engine, the last thing you want to do is get the wires crossed. So what does fission fragment engine need? It's 18 tons, a direct improvement, So what do we need? Fissionables again? Oh, it generates power. And you need liquid hydrogen as well. Or just fission. Okay. Yeah, that's a Y-wing right there. Nuclear fuel drum, but that's the wrong size. Once again, sort by size. You know what? When you sort by size, it should have, like, categories. That's too big, you see? Oh yeah, we should just put this on there. What do you think? No time for caution. I think obviously this is a bad idea, but what we should do is put that on there and a couple of big balls around the outside. I'm wondering, can we do bowling with these giant cryogenic tanks? How well do they roll? Just ram that through the atmosphere. I mean, there is this sort of classic bowling ball challenge where you have to fly something like this. It's not suggestive in the least. I mean, obviously we need to now make it more suggestive, right? No, there are... I don't think that's the way to go. Oh, man. Yes, we're stacking the orbs. You think we should have twin cockpits there instead? We could probably do that. Ah, no, you can't put cockpits on the front here. Denied. Maybe we should get rid of the stacked orbs and just put cockpits on here. Or we could put cockpits with orbs on them. I have no idea what this is going to be like. I should probably put a bunch of radiators on it, though. I never can find the radiators that I want. Now, is there a thing that lets me actually investigate the thermal state? Oh, here we go. Power thermal. Okay. Oh, interesting. Really? This thing doesn't generate any heat? You think Madonna wore this? What's our thrust to weight ratio on this? Apparently we don't have any thrust, so I must have screwed something up here. I have no idea what's going on now. I'm also falling asleep. Once again, one of those days. You need to switch the tanks to frag. That sounds like a plausible explanation. Fissionable particles? Okay, now what does that mean? Oh, tank type LH2. There we go. Structure covered. Fissionable particles, right. Why is this... I just want to see if this thing even lights up. Oh, Ms. Demeanor, thanks very much for your dropping by. Obviously, my Twitch stuff is totally made up in random thought processes, but I appreciate that people occasionally drop by and discuss things. So actually, dangerous safety. I've looked at this, and the temperature just always rises. I think there may be a bug right now. So what happens if we fire this thing up? Apparently nothing, because there's nobody in it. I didn't know that Strabenblitz had streams. He is undoubtedly one of these most qualified Kerbalers out there. There was a time when I might have been able to say, although it would be a lie, that I was very good at Kerbal Space Programmer. Strabenblitz has really pushed things beyond and into places where I simply don't have the time to go anymore. But all the same, cool. The fire symbol opens a heat exchanger, yes. There we go. We've got beams of light coming out. And it tells us this is producing 0.2 seconds of thrust. And that's gone now. Probably because it's too hot. System temperature. Oh, here, let's deploy these. Hopefully that'll cool things down. I could just add some buffer into this. That might take some time to cool down. So, do you have any tips or overall strategy? Should I focus on money, science? No, you focus on science. Science gets you more than anything else, and if you're running out of money, then you're doing something wrong. That's, I guess, my word. I'm going to just extend these radiators. Better to have them extended at launch. That may not be the way it's supposed to work. I'm just trying to figure out how this engine works and how much thrust it generates. So we're just doing this for now. So this has hydrogen, and there's a different mode, toggle mode. Okay. Yeah, funds in the... You can adjust career mode to make things hard, right? If you like. But it just becomes grindy, to be honest. I know, radial symmetry, mirror symmetry. What's the difference? I mean, sure, one pilot's hanging upside down. I love the way those balls seem to be wobbling around pendulously. Oh, that I didn't mean to do that. Giggity! That's right. Hey, I had a rocket that almost flipped out of control in the atmosphere, and it did a whole bunch of wobbling stuff. It's okay. We'll just cheat it into orbit. Okay, that seems to be glitching a little too much. So first of all, toggle mode. What is the mode? Where do I see the mode? Afterburning or reaction products. So afterburning mode presumably is higher thrust, right? Let's see what numbers this produces. Ready? Specific impulse 45,000. That's pretty good. Thrust is only 300 kilonewtons. So, oh yeah, of course, the problem with this is that it lost all its radiators, but that's fine. Okay, so... obviously these big pendulous tanks need to go for now. As cool as they are, we're ditching them. I mean, do you get what I said there about cool? I mean, you know, they're... and I should probably go to the thermal. One of the things you can add to make things better is just like cooling tanks. So you can increase the size of your coolant reservoir, which can really help. If you add like a ton of coolant tanks, then it'll take a lot longer for you to warm up. How about I have these hanging around outside the engine? So that gives you a bit of a buffer, but then of course it takes forever for the buffer to cool down again. There we go. Oh man. Yeah, they've got BE4. No, Centaur. No, they've mounted the BE4 engines on Vulcan Centaur, right? The Vulcan is the important part. Now we don't need a cockpit. We get a probe on there. Oh, and I forgot to put all these things on there, but it doesn't matter. Set orbit. And I'm cheating with power, so... I always forget, like, when I'm doing things live, I never assign things to action groups unless I need really fast reactions, and then I always regret it. When I'm making videos, I'll tend to have things assigned to reaction groups just for, you know, performance reasons. Thermal. Heat flow. Okay, let's activate this. I got a point prograde. Hopefully there's enough torque. Yeah, we get some torque going on here. What? Well, it'll be nice if Arca managed to actually launch and do something. I mean, if they get their first stage running, then have they done any work on their second stage? Yeah, KSP career mode is definitely a puzzle Yes, you can make things in flight. You can. Yeah, have a great. I love that you can see, by the way, mountains sticking up. It's always very pleasant to see that. It says it's having a very hard time pointing in the right direction. Let's fire those engines though. So now this is producing 30 kilonewtons of thrust in reaction products, right? So this is fission fragments. Now watch, the temperature is rising, but what it's basically doing is it's undergoing a nuclear reaction, and the bits of the fissionables are flying off at very high speed. So that's a fission fragment rocket. But this one also apparently has an afterburning mode. But I'm going to turn the engine off for a second. I mean, that raised up my orbit just a touch. I've gone from 86 to higher. But let's fire these engines up and then toggle mode to afterburning. And we get more thrust. But I suspect that we're not going to... Oh, we've got infinite propellant running, haven't we? We should probably turn that off. There we go. Well, wait a second. Really? We're still not burning through that liquid hydrogen with any great speed? That's not so bad. Could this one get near the speed of light? So let me just see. Specific impulse with this is 45,000. And if I switch to the other one, it's 450,000. So this doesn't even tell me what the speed of light, top speed of this thing is. Should probably just fire up the layer. Let's put it in. Oh, engine 6 system, maximize temperature. Uh-oh. This is going to take a while to cool down. No, top speed is not the exhaust velocity. That's not true, McThulu. The top speed is the exhaust velocity multiplied by the log of the mass, the wet mass divided by the dry mass. Right? This thing does seem to have a very hard time not spinning around like a crazy thing. Still, it looks very, very pretty here. It's going to take far too long to cool down. No. Top speed with finite fuel. I'm not clear what you're talking. You can go faster than the exhaust velocity of a rocket fuel. I mean, think about it. There's no rocket exhaust that we have, short of ion engines, that can reach escape velocity, right? Because of the way rockets work, we're able to go faster. Yeah, radiators have many different things to try to... Yeah, technically you also need to take into account drag and other stuff in relativistic speed. Yeah, the equation for the speed delta V capability of a rocket is wet mass divided by the dry mass, take the natural logarithm and then multiply that by the exhaust velocity. And that first equation, if it's greater than E, will be greater than 1, so it'll be, right? If you had infinite fuel, well, it depends in what form you had it. If you had infinite fuel, then it would collapse into its infinite gravity well, right? If you were cheating on your fuel, sure. I'm wondering if this thing respects ignore max temperature. I wonder what happens if I fire this thing back up again. Yeah, temperature still rises. Let's toggle mode again. Again, we seem to have engines that aren't quite respecting the geometry of their exit nozzles. Or when that reaches 4,000, I guess I want to find out whether the thing actually respects the cheat code. Yeah, if you're cheating, no, you can totally go home. I'm actually about to go to sleep, but I'm just like finding out how this mod behaves. They are super duper cooling radiators, yes. It actually tells me I only have about 11 kilometers per second delta V with this. So I don't have enough liquid hydrogen to matter. And we're about to hit limit. And it turns off. So the cheat mode does not ignore the thermal properties. See, these are things that I need to do. I'm doing research on how this works. But I actually have to get to sleep. I could stuff in the morning. And I'll see you all. Right. Good night. Sleep tight. Be safe. Be fly. Fly safe. Oh yeah, I gotta actually look at it to click the right button. Yeah, I know, of course I'm remembering to shut the stream down. What do you think I am? Some kind of numpty? Seriously, thanks to everyone that's tuned in. I will make more videos and stuff.